Hello, I hope that you are doing well. God bless you. Happy New Year. It's been a little while. It has been a little while. Usually at the end of the year, I like to just kind of shut down. And I won't say fully shut down, but I really like to just kind of still away, shut down, just not have a lot of noise, not have a lot of distractions, and just really do a lot of like reflecting, getting things in order, whether it be the home, whether it be mentally, emotionally, financially, just all those things, family. Just I really like to shut down and just kind of still away, and that has been awesome to do. So I did that at the end of the year, and of course did some traveling with family, and then for the holiday, and then also after the first of the year, just kind of as well took some time and a lot of reflecting, continued fasting, and fasting in different ways, and also just reflecting and praying and as well, just seeing things that are going on in our country, in the world, and just really feeling the heart of God, feeling grieved for what grieves his heart. And so I just wanted to come on and share. I can't remember when it was maybe within the last week or so. I maybe week and a half, I received this revelation, and when I'm telling you, it floored me. Like I didn't have any more words. There was nothing else for me to say, nothing else for me to think. Like I was shut down. And I was sitting at home and just had a moment where I was just kind of processing like just things that I've been through over the last couple of years, and just all the things when you're just like really, especially when you feel like faced with challenges on every side. And so I was just like, okay, God, like this, the level of pain had felt just really unbearable at times. And I was just like, God, like, surely this can't be your will. Like, surely what more does someone, just have to endure? And just kind of like just processing through all of that with God. And I received a glimpse, and the picture that I received in the glimpse, and forgive me in advance if I'm kind of like, I don't want to say piecing this together, but I'm just recalling it as it came, and trusting that God will give me the words to say. But I received a glimpse, and the glimpse that I received was of the back, the wounded back of Christ. And the wounds were they were fresh. They were fresh wounds. And it was almost like seeing the actual, not the full cross experience, but seeing his back from that walk and that cross experience, seeing the wounds on his back, seeing the flesh, seeing the blood. And when I'm telling you, like, just the way that God, like, just the way that God blew that up to me in that moment was like, okay, he was completely 1000% in the will of God. Yet it was painful. Yet at times very unbearable in this natural flesh. Unbearable, humiliating, exhausting, disturbing, distressing, like any kind of stressful word you can think of. Let's put it there. It was all of that and more. Yet he endured the cross for the joy. That came to me. It was, okay, yet he endured the cross for the joy that was set before him, and that joy was us. That joy was salvation. That joy was redemption. And I was just like, wow. I mean, like I said, God completely just like shut me down. Like, not in a bad way, but just in a really good way, an encouraging way, that not only I feel like validated what I felt and what I have been processing, but also calmed me, assured me, comforted me, and also in a father's way corrected me too. You know, I think sometimes the world that we live in can cause us to be so self-centered of, why do I have to go through this, or why did I have to go through that, or why do I feel this way? I want everything to feel good. And that's not the reality of a life lived, a surrendered life, you know, a dead life. Like, he's like, okay, it's no longer I who lives, but Christ lives in me. You can't say that. You can't say that without having allowed yourself to die. And I've heard it many times, and as well, I think it may be either in church or in counseling, but it's like, okay, something that's dead doesn't feel. So when you find yourself reacting, overreacting, popping off, whatever, okay, you felt that. You're still alive. Something needs to die. Like, in a good way. But just allowing, like, ourselves, our flesh, our bodies to be fully surrendered when you call yourself a believer, when you say that you're saved, when you say that you're following God, you allow yourself to die. You allow yourself to surrender. You allow yourself to submit. You allow yourself to yield in a way that sometimes doesn't make sense, to yield in a way that sometimes absolutely feels and looks humiliating on every level. You could be appearing crazy to everybody around you and be absolutely in the will of God. And in the natural mind, like, that makes no sense. Like, it should all be pieced together. And one thing that literally blew my mind, last year, I received, it was like, I can't remember exactly how it was posed, but it was just like, okay, when you're trying to understand everything, you're trying to, like, that's a level of pride. There's a level of you not being surrendered when you're trying to piece everything and make sure all the pieces match and fit. Like, okay, there's a level of you're not surrendering, you're not trusting, and there's a level of pride. And so I really had to check myself, because for the longest time I've been one that's like, okay, I don't want to say prided myself, but I've been big on, okay, like, I want things to make sense. I want to understand. I want it to be able to piece together, and, like, you could put all the dots together. And that's not true faith. Yes, we have to operate in wisdom, all those things, but that's not true faith. And so I have repeatedly been convicted, in those areas, but I wanted to come back and hone in on that glimpse that God gave me. I said, God, okay, surely pain can't be in the reality of what you have for me in this process, and pain, disappointment, embarrassment, frustration, being tired, all of those things. Surely this can't be what you really truly have for me and in your will. And he showed me his back. He was fully in the will of God, fully in the will of God, fully obedient, fully surrendered, fully humbled, operating in humility. Yet he lived a life, not just in that moment of what we saw or we know of the cross experience, but he lived a life that was surrendered, a life that didn't make sense, a life that repeatedly, he was humiliated in ways, or he, in the spiritual, like, and the way that he walked, he was not humiliated, but in our natural flesh, it would have seemed, appeared, felt humiliating, questioned, mocked, like, just repeatedly tested. yet he was fully in the will of God. My dear friends, I pray that you are encouraged today, that if you feel like you have been in a season or even a lifetime of what has not made sense, that you rest. You rest in the finished work of God in your life, that you rest in who he has created and called you to be. I pray that you feel encouraged. I pray that you feel strengthened. And I just pray that your heart truly rests in who God is, who he has already completed the work to do and to be in your life, that you trust it with all your heart, and that you surrender any area of disappointment, any area of pain, any area of pride, any area of instability, insecurity, name it all. Name it all. I pray that you rest in the fullness of who God is and know that he is more than enough. He is more than enough. He is more than enough for your situation. He is more than enough for that pain. He is more than enough for what you don't understand. He is more than enough. I pray that you are encouraged today. God bless you.